going on, you guys? It's your Huggable Hipster here, and welcome back to today's episode of The Hunter Cafe. I am here with Elbithium. I got it right, finally. And he's known for his walkthroughs. He's known for showing you guys how to play the game when it comes to Souls and Souls-like games primarily, but he's divin into Helldiver. I don't even know how you pronounce that name. Dovin? We're going to go with Dovin. Into Helldivers, so many different types of games. Welcome on in, dude. How are you today?
I'm pretty good and very happy to be here. Pleasure to meet you in person like this. So very happy. Hopefully the day continues going really well.
I know, same here. It's been a rather chaotic day, but I'm really excited for this conversation. I'm really excited to see where things go with it. So my first question for you is, when it comes to Souls and Souls-like games, where would you recommend people to start? Because we have so many choices now for different games that we can play in this category, where there were only Souls games, like the first 3 Souls games to play with.
Well, here's the thing. You should be looking at where a developer has more games. You know, if it's their first game, they will probably make the mistake of misunderstanding the formula of From Software to make it hard just for the sake of being hard. But when it comes to actual Souls games, so not Souls-likes, I would recommend always starting at the end of the line, you know, the newest games, because these games, they always start out as a raw idea, you know, and it's going to take time to get refined so that they can include as many players as possible. So for that very reason, you know, starting, for example, with Demon Souls would be a bad idea, because you start the level and then you have to beat the boss to get your little checkpoint, you know. Otherwise, you are just hitting a wall. And take Elden Ring, for example. You know, if you hit a wall here, you can turn your attention somewhere else. And you have all these other options that are kind of like a hidden easy mode for the game. Pretty much also accessibility. You have all sorts of specters and summons and NPCs that can come and aid you. In some cases, you can even leave the gamepad to the side, and the game is gonna beat the boss for you, basically. So always go for the newer games.
You see, I tried that actually with Lies of P. I don't know if you saw the episode I did of where I literally just let the gamepad down, and I was like, this is fighting the boss actually for me to a degree.
Oh, the specters are really useful.
And that was where I think I had the most difficult boss. It was the one of where, oh gosh, it was I want to say the Archduke who was becoming a mon. Yeah, I had one of the specters.
Archbishop.
Yep, that was it. And one of the specters, I just let it go for a second because I noticed he was being a rather beefy boy and he was doing a lot of damage to the character. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to leave it for a second to see how much it does. It took out half of its health before getting completely pummeled. And I was like, okay, wow, that was incredibly easy, actually.
Yeah, they do that. They are very useful. But when it comes to Lies of P, for example, you know, this is their first, I think, to my knowledge at least, first Souls-like, and they kind of overdid it with artificial difficulty, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's type of difficulty, like, you can do it, but not sure if you ever played the game called Eldest Souls. It's
No, I haven't.
you are so underpowered, and for example, you have this boss fight where you fight in the arena that's like this big, circular arena this big, and all that the boss has is AoE attacks. You know,
Oh, jeez.
yeah, that's not fun. Like, I can do it, but it's just not fun. And a lot of these new developers, they wanna do what's From Software doing, but they just simply, a lot of them, almost all of them, don't understand how to fine-tune difficulty, to find that balance between rewarding difficulty and just being annoying, you know. Like, I can do it, but what's it worth?
Exactly. And you know, it was interesting from my perspective. When I went into Lies of P, I thought it was the most Souls-like that I've played thus far, because it had like what the essence of what a Dark Souls game is, but it wasn't going overboard with trying to shove anything down the player's throat to a degree. There's a lot of games, and I don't know if you played Mortal Shell at all. I'm diving into that game right now, and it's trying to be a mixture of Dark Souls, but its own thing. And I think it's really interesting to see people going through all these different games, which leads me to my next question. What Dark Souls game and what Souls-like are the ones that you like the most?
Well, Dark Souls 1 is always going to be the absolutely favorite Soulsborne game to me personally. Not only because it's the first one that I played, but it's something special. Even though Bloodborne comes very, very close, and Mimi wants something. Okay, no, she's good. And Souls like, you know what? I absolutely do like Mortal Shell. Platinum did twice how much I liked it, but when it comes to the sheer quality of a Souls like, the Remnant 1 and 2 are just on a
Oh,
completely
nice.
another level, because you have your lore, which is absolutely phenomenal. You have lots of builds. Um, they just nail it, like they combine what makes these games amazing, but they also bring something of their own on a completely different scale. Because as much as I love Mortal Shell, the truth is it's a limited Souls like, you don't have your builds, you're kind of very confined, but that's okay because that game was like what, 30-40 euros, I think, when it
I think
released.
so, yeah.
So I can't judge it like I would judge, for example, Lies of P, for its own downfalls. But absolutely, Dark Souls 1 and the 2 Remnant games, especially the second one, phenomenal. Even though it's, with guns and people get confused, this is a third-person shooter. No, it still follows certain rules that make it a Souls-like.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's a game I'm most excited about diving into is Remnant 1 and 2. I have yet to play them, so I'm very, very excited.
Oh my God, you are absolutely in for a treat. In for a treat. Incredible games.
Yeah, as far as mine go for what Souls and Souls-like games I love, I would have to say Bloodborne, my favorite. I've put
Bloodborne
almost
is
400
incredible.
hours into that game. Oh,
Oh my
it's so
goodness,
good.
that is a lot. That's amazing. I mean, you
Yeah.
know what? On some days, if you ask me, I would say Bloodborne, but I guess from a gameplay perspective, I don't know. Maybe Dark Souls has a little bit more builds, but I love Bloodborne. I love its world. I love the setting. I love the lore. It's so incredible. What a game!
It really is,
Amazing.
because I mean, I'm on the journey to platinuming that game right now. It will be technically the first game I've ever platinumed before. The other one was an indie game called Neverending Nightmares that I platinumed that game in one go. It was really, really fun. But this one was really interesting to see because you need to get all the weapons. You need to get all of like the craftables. You need to get all that stuff. As far as a Souls-like, I would have to say, oh gosh, probably Elden Ring, because technically that is a Souls like. It's not actually in the franchise of Souls games.
That's one of those things where you can argue for and against all day long. I mean, it definitely doesn't have the words Souls in the name, but even a lot of the assets that they used still come from Dark Souls 3. The philosophy. And apologies for earlier. Mimi gave me a heart attack. She was
Oh
drinking
no.
water. Because of her condition, she kind of fell over. This thing like really blew up. I'm just looking if she. No, everything's okay. Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. I thought she might have spilled some water. No, she's okay. If you hear any purring or meows, it's Princess Mimi right
And
here.
listen,
I'm
it
just petting
brings
her.
character to the stream, okay?
Exactly that. Always having a little kitty. Always having a little kitty.
It's
Where
wonderful. I love that they even put cats in Dark Souls games because it's like, nope, I see cat, I want to pet the cat. They need to have a function where you can
exactly,
just pet the cat.
exactly. But why give the cat the attitude? They are so misunderstood. Like we have a bunch of cats. They are all super sweet. They would never tell me that I have a human smell that stinks. Like in
Exactly. In
Dark
Dark
Souls
Souls
2.
2.
Man,
I
that
just finished
little.
Dark Souls 2, by the way.
Oh my God, it's a game I will forever pretend that didn't release. I platinumed it. I played it. I platinumed it, just for OCD reasons. So I have all of these From Software games platinumed. But what people don't understand is a lot of people play Dark Souls 2 years later. So when I played Dark Souls 1, this thing changed my life. It became a way of life. Like all of a sudden, I understood that I do not quit, like how my family was trying to convince me, you quit that, you quit that. Yeah, I quit a bunch of stuff you forced me into. And I was playing just Dark Souls 1 for like years to come. And then, they announced Dark Souls 2, and I was the happiest guy in the world. I was latching on to every interview. And in every interview, they were like, you know what, this is going to be bigger, better. We had to develop a new engine to drive all the gameplay and graphical improvements that we envisioned. And then they released the demo. The demo blew me away. It looked amazing. They were showcasing the torch. The torch was a big gameplay.
Yes.
Exactly. The torch was a big gameplay improvement because, in their own words, and this is what they said, you're going to have to decide in plenty of dark areas if you want to see or you want to be protected by your shield. The game releases and they just shrugged their shoulders. We couldn't deliver on this. It was the worst. It was, I think, to me personally, that could have been the first massive downgrade I ever saw in my life. It hurt
Interesting.
me deeply. It's like I mourn the loss of a family member. Oh my
It's
goodness.
fascinating because at first, when I did a playthrough of Dark Souls 2, I didn't like it at all either. I was like, the enemy saturation, number one, is overkill with it. I mean, I think they make up for the fact for that because all the enemies die, which is not a Souls game. I mean, I'll firmly say that right now. Like, if you want a Souls game, the enemies just don't die. I think they wanted to do that as a bit of a reprieve for the player. But when it comes down to it, it was really an interesting title for me because the final boss battle and the ending, not only was it lackluster, but it was
horrible.
also really awesome at the same time because, like, as you know, like, if you wanted to end off the game, just end it off, there's only one ending. There wasn't the second ending before the Scholar of the First Sin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
much.
it was so weird to me because when I played through it and I saw that ending, I was like, that's it. You said I
That's
had a
it. Yeah,
choice,
that's
but
it.
I didn't
Like,
have a
what?
choice.
That's it. Like, I can already hear, like, typing on the keyboard. Dark Souls 2 did bring some things that stuck with, the whole series. They pretty much made a phenomenal multiplayer and everything, and
Yes.
lots more builds and stuff. But when it comes to broken promises and the Miyazaki touch, this guy, what Dark Souls 2 lacks is, and I read this interview with Miyazaki, not Miyazaki, it was one of the people who worked, like one of the designers, and he was saying that if you remember in Dark Souls 1, there was this, it wasn't a boss or anything, it was an undead dragon on that Valley of Drakes. He was like, I brought to him like 15 designs, he shot down every one of them, Like, this is cliche. I don't want worms on it. Like, I want you to give me a design that conveys the idea of this great, majestic beast and its sorrow because it cannot, take to the skies anymore. He's like trapped there, dying. Like, see, you don't have this in Dark Souls 2. In Dark Souls 3, you have dead dragons and their ashes are literally blowing in the wind. Like, I need details like this. Dark
Yeah,
Souls
it's
2
interesting.
doesn't have it.
It's weird because, like, when I see Dark Souls 2 and I saw the two dragons that we had to go towards, there was one that we had to fight, which I thought, okay, that's actually a really kind of cool boss battle. A little too easy for my taste, but it was really cool nonetheless. But then there was just one that spoke to me telepathically and gave me Ashen Mist. And I'm like, cool, but also I wanted this to last a little longer. Like, this was a cool experience. Why didn't it? And you could tell which ones Miyazaki helped on and which ones he didn't. Like, you can clearly tell, like, the twin, the Throne Watcher and the Throne Defender.
That's a total Miyazaki thing.
That was his.
What I was gonna say, no, it just lacked, and you can see that it was Team B working on Dark Souls 2, while the Team A produced Bloodborne. Like when you go into, what was that, Hemwick Lane?
Hemwick Eternal Lane.
Yeah, like the graves, like thrown about like that, the trees itself, how they're designed. Dark Souls 2 just doesn't have this. I feel like they were like, oh my god, what do we do? You know what? Let's combine the gameplay of Demon Souls with the lore of Dark Souls 1 and we'll sprinkle a few things of our own. We'll make up something, And bam, there you go, Dark Souls 2 was born. Oh my god, did that game hurt me. And the worst thing was, there were so many same enemies, just reskins, and they pretty much doubled down on this with DLCs, the 3 DLCs. It's the same enemy, but it's basically a reskin, and...
The Bell, Gargoyle, Ornstein.
Oh my god, the
I loved seeing
gargoyle boss fight they were like, you know what? One of the most iconic boss battles from Dark Souls 1 was fighting those two gargoyles. You know what's better than two gargoyles? And one of the people there, he was like, 3? No. Another guy at the meeting, 4? No. How about 6? That guy, that. Yeah, we will make it 6. Okay. 6 gargoyles because the console can't do more than 6. Otherwise, it would have been 15.
What was your first impression of Returnal whenever you played that game? Because I played that last year, and it was probably one of the best games I ever played.
Mine as well. I loved it. Not to boast. I'm not boasting now. I loved that game so much that I kept, I couldn't put it down, and I kept coming up with these crazy challenges for myself just so I keep playing the game. So I ended up beating the whole game, no damage. Then I beat it melee only. They nailed the gameplay. The first thing and most important thing that a roguelike needs to do is nail the gameplay loop because of the repetition. But before I get into that, a lot of people mistake roguelikes and roguelites. You know the difference. So in roguelike, when you die, that's that. You carry nothing over. And in roguelites, when you die, you always carry something over. You're always doing something to get a little bit stronger. So in roguelikes, there's no meta progression, you know. Stuff like abilities to unlock other levels, that kind of doesn't count, you know, like the grapple hook and stuff. But Returnal, incredible, amazing experience. The gameplay was so smooth. It just flowed. It was, you can't put it down. I couldn't. And the setting was, I played that game so many times, I have no idea what the story is.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I was about to ask what you thought of the story.
I'm like, okay, so is she in purgatory? Is she in something else? Did she die? Is she in hell? What is happening here? Is this actually some sort of like Groundhog Day thing? I don't know. I have no idea.
Interesting. Yeah. Did you play the DLC, Sisyphus's loop and everything?
Yes.
Okay. Because if you go into the DLC and you collect some of the flower petals, that gives you more into the story and her mother and everything. And you actually get another ending if you go through and you get like a key and the sun plates and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. Like whenever I first went into it, for those of you who don't know, I do have a degree in psychology. So for me, psychology is very important in a video game. So when I was going through it, it was like absolutely perfect. It was bountiful with all of this wonderful psychology, and seeing how the gameplay loop worked in with that psychology of it, it was mind blowing.
It really was. It really was. And speaking of psychology, developers really do use psychology against us, the players, a lot. A lot. It's an easy trick to make your game last longer without actually, the game being that long, because they will try their hardest to get under your skin. The moment the game gets under your skin, you're going to start making mistakes. The more mistakes you make, you're going to even walk away for a few days, And then, especially if a same enemy kills you more than once, that enemy all of a sudden, through no means of its own, becomes special. He is in your head. And every time you approach that enemy, you don't know what you're doing. Oh my God, he's going to kill me again. He's going to kill me again, kills you again. What is this enemy doing? Why is this enemy so special? It's these little tricks that are just so fascinating, honestly.
I do have a question for you, though. Favorite boss in Returnal?
Oh my God, that is a really good question. I would have to say Nemesis. The third boss.
Okay.
Love that guy.
That was so much fun. I loved it.
Nah, it's here's the thing. When I get into these games, I get a little psycho, because these games are so hard. I'm like, you know what? I am going to torment you. And how I was able, how the game allowed me to break this boss was so satisfying. Abusing the grapple hook, even in its first phase, it was just so good. But what was the name of the fourth boss? The guy with playing the piano.
Oh, the song. That was my favorite. I
couldn't stop singing that. I was going around humming it like crazy. But he would be my close second. Absolutely.
Yeah. That one was my first favorite, and my second favorite was probably the final boss. It was so well done.
Oh my God, he's amazing. Amazing with the little weak spots and everything. Really, really amazing.
Yeah, and that one,
Oh,
it was
what a
kind of
game.
like a dance almost, like a ballet. You had to go in and out and weaving back and forth. It's kind of like
Uh-huh.
Sekiro, you know, how when you have the true monk and you
Uh-huh.
have that kind of dance that you do with it, it was so
True.
well designed.
I'm gonna tag you in a video I made. It's exactly that on Twitter. Exactly that. The dance. Abusing, the movement system and everything. Just being in control of the dance. Like you lead. It's a dance, but you lead. Amazing boss
Exactly.
fight.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about Souls and Souls like that I feel like a lot of people, if they understood it, would find an easier time with it. Is like if it's kind of rhythmically like a song. Whenever people go through the certain boss battles, you have a crescendo and you have the forte and you have all these different moments of where your high points, the crescendo is like beating the boss and understanding like, okay,
True.
we have to like really go and crunch and do all this kind of stuff. But
True.
your down moments are whenever like it's stunned or something like that, which is
Uh-huh.
really
I
interesting.
mean, a lot of people struggle with Souls and Souls-like games because they try to play them like other games. No, you have to respect the rules of the game. Otherwise, you're going to have a miserable time.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you see people who are new who are going into Souls and Souls likes, what's a rule, like a fundamental rule that you always tell them or like you would want to tell them before they go into one to prepare them?
Not to give up. This sounds obvious, but if you walk away, you're not going to learn anything. Because this isn't just about a game. It's an opportunity to know yourself and grow as a person as well. To put your foot down and say, you know what, I'm not walking away until I do this. And also not to overly complicate things. Because I say again, the word of the mouth, you saw or heard from someone else that these games are hard, and you walk into this experience thinking that you are going to get beaten. Do not enter these games defeated already.
That's true.
The best advice I can give new players.
Yeah, like I didn't even know about the Souls and Souls like community when I was entering into Souls games for the first time because the way that I entered in was a bit backwards, if I want to say. I saw a trailer on Elden Ring right before, I think about a few months before the game came out. It was back in 2021, and I was like, okay, this is like everything I've ever seen. It's like what was it? Oh gosh, it's like Geralt is fighting, only it's more intense, and I did a review of the trailer and I got completely smoked in the comments and they were just like, you gotta try Dark Souls. If you never played Dark Souls, you gotta try it. I'm just like, I've never played any of these games before. So one of my friends commented and she was like, try Dark Souls 1 remastered, give it a go. Please, I beg of you. It's one of the best games ever created. And that night I ordered the game. It changed my life, literally, forever.
Exactly that. Dark Souls 1, life-changing. Exactly that. Same experience. Oh my God,
And
what
then
I
my
wouldn't.
own personal little brag is that I ended up finishing almost all of the Souls-like games in less than a year.
Oh, that is amazing. Kudos. Amazing work. Can't wait to see what they're working on next. Because for me personally, it's not a Souls-like, but Armored Core 6 was a massive disappointment for me personally.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's
Here's the
currently
thing.
one of the games I'm reviewing, so it's interesting to hear your take on it.
Okay, might as well piss off people now. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hate on the game, but here's the thing. Levels don't serve a purpose. Regular enemies are no threat to you. The levels are literally filler content to reach a boss and go from boss to a boss. And every boss you can beat by just a correct build. The Balteus, the most notorious boss of the entire game probably, I managed to beat him not moving once from the starting point of the arena. I took in all of its hits, and I just kept, following him where he is, shooting when I would pick my moment. Just because I put on a correct build, I beat his boss, It's just, I didn't like it. And I did play almost all of the other games before, but it feels like it's something that was stuck in the past and just looked prettier, and it was kind of cool, and it's not hard. It's really not hard at all. It's much easier even than the Souls-likes and Souls games that they produce.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that Armored Core 6 is Souls-like. It's like, no.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No.
It's not.
No, it's
No.
oh, you have a limited amount of heals. So I mean,
Yeah,
come
that's
on.
literally the same in a lot of other types of games.
Now, how many games let you have an infinite amount of healing? Oh, those are all Souls likes, all of them.
Yeah, no,
Nah,
you get to pet the dog, Souls like.
there you go. There you go.
I do have to ask now because now I'm really interested to know what is your gaming hot take when it comes to Souls and Souls like games.
That Souls games like that they shouldn't have an easy mode. That's my hot take. Because you probably follow Stone also on Twitter.
I think
Like,
so, yeah.
the things he does are incredible, simply incredible. And especially because they do go out of their way to give you options to make the game a lot easier. Like in the end, even when you put all of these NPCs aside, you can always get someone else and stand, all the way over there in the corner, let someone else beat the boss for you. If From Software would add an easy mode, I then wouldn't have a problem. I'm one of those guys who always says, okay, I would prefer if they didn't, but if they put, you know what, this is creator's vision, and I will, accept it. But if they, I don't know, go like the Remnant. Remnant has difficulty options, but it's from normal, hard, harder, hardest, apocalyptic, So it's like that. So that was something that always kind of bothered me. It bothered me more because people were coming with disingenuous feelings into this rather than being honest, about the whole thing of the easy mode and everything. I'm all for everyone playing, but I better not say something that's gonna get me in trouble.
It's nothing to get you in trouble. I mean, like this is a place to discuss your opinions and be open about things. The thing is that like I want everyone to keep in mind that accessibility is different from ease of playability, because when it comes to ease of playability, it shouldn't, I don't think that there should be an easy mode within Souls games either. I'm one of those people that's just like, I want the difficulty, I want the challenge of it. But I also want players who have disabilities to be able to play the game. I don't want people mixing up the two because I don't want people mixing up the two, because a lot of the time people mix it up and they just look very ableist, and it's just like, no, learn the difference, please.
Exactly. But here's the thing, what bothered me always, when you counter someone who's saying that, they immediately reach for the disabled gamers. While disabled gamers are like, we're fine, and then I ask this person, but okay, tell me please, what do you actually do for the disabled people in general? Do you walk in the door from volunteering with the disabled? Do you put your coat next to a inspiring poster, for the disabled, and then go on Twitter and write these things? Or are you just sitting there, saying these things without actually contributing anything in the real world? Because if you're not, you don't have a voice in this. I'm not going to listen to you. And that was the problem, something that bothered me the most. Put your money where how does it go?
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, exactly that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
English is not my native language.
You're fine.
But I'm always for as many people. I just feel like
I can't English a lot of the time, okay?
No problem. The thing is, I feel like too many people just don't want to put the effort in. And that's the problem. Nothing else.
And that's the unfortunate part about, you get the zest pool of the vitriol that happens on Twitter, and a lot of people don't want to see another perspective, unfortunately. I had a kind of a hot take that I did a video on, of where you don't need to wear clothing in Souls games because you're learning the move sets anyway, so you don't really need that buffer.
Very true. But you know what's funny now that you mentioned the visual and everything? So the Souls community is on a reputation that we are the most toxic. We're the most elitist. No, we're not. You wouldn't believe how many shaming comments I got. For example, Resident Evil 4 Remake. I made guides. Obviously, I made guides for bosses on normal difficulty. Like, if you want to challenge yourself, this doesn't work on professional difficulty. This is crap. You did this on easy mode. No, I didn't. This is normal mode. If you want to challenge yourself, that is on you. It's not my responsibility to help you, especially with that type of attitude, if you went in for professional mode. A lot of these other games are just much, much worse than the Souls-like and Souls community toxic people.
The Helldiver community especially.
Oh my goodness. the the amount of, and then again with the comments and the organized disliking on my videos and everything, it was really, really horrible. But we are the only community that gets defined by these toxic players, even though nobody wants them near, and everyone just shuns them out. It's just, I will never understand why, honestly.
I won't get either. I mean, like, a lot of people don't understand that there are, whenever it comes to our community, like, we try our best to get the bad actors out. You know, we try our best to get them out, but there will always be those people who will belittle and say get good in not a nice way and everything, which is awful, obviously. But we have to take it into account. Like, there are so many other communities out there that also have really bad people.
Exactly. It's this. That's my point. It's this like same, but some actually might be even worse. But there's these type of players everywhere. So pointing one whole community for them, it's just not okay. It's just not okay. Because people get a little bit defensive when you say you enjoy these games. They're like, okay, like what, why, what did I say?
Yeah. It's supposed to be like, what, a
God.
scarlet letter or something? Like, no, it's just literally a game to enjoy yourself.
There you go.
I mean, albeit we are a little bit more of a masochistic community, but that's okay.
Yes, actually, yes. And you know what? Funny enough, you should mention that. And this is something I wanted to say when I was discussing the difficulty options. I've known quite a few people, over the years that, and I don't think these people get talked enough when it comes to the difficulty things. Playing these games was the only way they could sense a control over their own life. They were in really, really bad psychological places, like really bad. Like when everything else in their life was going down, me included, in more than once. It was the only sense of control in our lives that you could get, And it's just something very, very intimate. Obviously, if I say again, if they do put difficulty options in some game, I will still play it, no problem. I will not complain. But when they don't, then the other side shouldn't complain either.
Yeah, exactly. And I firmly believe this, and I've said it before, and I always will say it, is that any able-bodied person I know can finish and play any Souls or Souls-like. It just matter of if you want to and your patience level.
Very
That's
true.
it.
And this gets a whole nother dimension when you consider how much time there is between the two From Software releases. What, 2-3 years? How many games release in this time period that caters to literally everyone else? Why is this one game such an issue? Because you made it personal. And that is the biggest reason why I don't want the difficulty options, because it's not honest. It's not honest. It's a made-up issue because there are so many games. So, no, it's a made-up problem. It's a made-up problem to take away joy of a very small community. Well, now we've kind of grown, but the other side gets a lot more games than we do to truly enjoy.
And it's so sad because it's like there's so many people who want to enjoy Souls games but are belittled by their peers because when they go into them, they're like, oh, you're going into a toxic community. It's like that right there. That's the mindset that makes it toxic, not the community itself.
Exactly that. That's exactly that. You're 100% right there.
Yeah, but the next question I wanted to dive into, it's more of a fun one because I thought, oh, this would be a perfect question to ask him. If you were to have a pizza party and invite 5 different characters, 5 different bosses from a Souls or Souls-like, who would you invite?
Well, I wouldn't invite Smode, that's for sure. Like all the pizza.
He's just gonna eat everybody.
Exactly. That's a great question. Oh my God, you're kind of put me on the spot here. I would have to invite, I call him Mikolas Cage. So from Bloodborne, absolutely. That guy looks like he's a riot. Like absolutely. Okay, so him. I would have to Gwyn. I would have to like just invite him and just talk to him about things. Who would seem really fun also? Oh my gosh. Wow, you really gave me a question here, didn't you? So that's 2. I'm 3 short. Funny enough, the most of these guys I would actually invite are from Bloodborne.
Nice.
Exactly,
They're
German.
real partiers.
Absolutely. So he can just roll in German and then just get up and smack everyone. So that's 3. Mikolas, German. Who did I say was... There was a third one. Oh my goodness, I forgot who was my third option, actually. Oh my god, you have to invite Patches. Patches, you need to invite Patches.
Patches.
Yeah, so
Yes, we
like
need to.
after
Wait
the
a second.
party...
A spider version of Patches or
No,
regular
no, no.
Patches?
No, normal Patches. Patchai? Patches. Patches. Plural.
Jizzy.
Patches.
Patchesy.
So after the party's over, we can all be like, where's my stuff? We're like, Patches? Gosh darn it,
Patches, get
Patches
back here, you
again.
bastard.
Again with the Patches. And you know what? Maybe I would invite those 2 princes from Dark Souls 3. Those are kind of like one boss for the 2, so they can bring the sibling bickery into the
Yes, we need some
party.
drama at a pizza party.
You just have to. You just have to. So I feel like
what
that
kind
way.
of pizza, though? Now, these are the questions.
Not Yarnum pizza. I feel like it would have like, instead of ketchup, it would have like blood on it.
Yeah.
So some sort of really good Lordran pizza.
Okay. Okay, I like it. I like it. You see, now mine's going to be a little more non-traditional because I'm going to be inviting the Dancer of the Boreal Valley as my first one.
Excellent choice. Okay. Excellent choice. That's an amazing choice.
Absolutely amazing boss. Second one is going to be Ornstein because my guy Ornstein has to be there. He'll probably eat all the pizzas and kill everybody, but it's okay. Then I'm going to invite Vicar Amelia because she turns into a puppy, so that's always good, right?
That's amazing. Okay.
And then I think I'm going to invite Artorias. Has to be Artorias. And then what would be the other one I would invite? Probably, I'm trying to think now through all the other bosses. Nishandra.
Yeah, that's actually that's like a really, really good list. For a second there, I actually forgot that they're like all just mixed together. But funny enough, we didn't name one single Elden Ring boss, either one of us.
Oh my god, we left out Mechalith.
No, he's like a puppy, like a pet that someone brings to the party.
Puppy with rabies.
Yeah. Like we could invite
the pizza
Godric.
I would have, though, would be broccoli and mushroom.
Oh my goodness, broccoli and mushroom. Well, you know what? Dark Souls, plenty of mushrooms there, so...
Yeah.
But
Godric... do you want radiated mushrooms? Here, we have them right
here. There you go. Godric would hold everyone's drinks, being all grafted and everything, with a bunch of hands.
You know who would be the party crasher, though? The Radahn.
A literal party crasher.
So wait a second, down in the comments below, you guys have to know us. Who would you invite to your pizza party?
Absolutely, they have to. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Oh man,
but that's good. I love that. I love that so much. Like honestly, there has to be a cosplay of someone somewhere doing a pizza party, but with Bloodborne bosses and all the other bosses.
That really
if not, we need to make it a thing.
That really would be awesome. That would be. Like I actually have right here just sorry.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, wait, now I have to show mine. Victorious.
Oh, wait. No, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same line. That's the same line. I have...
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I love that one. That one's amazing.
I need to find my Artorias also, but he holds the sword differently. It's the same type of base as well.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, yeah. Wait. Not sure if you're going to be able to see this. Can you see this?
Oh, yes, I can see that. Oh, that looks so cool.
So, I actually won this in a contest.
Oh, that's so cool.
Official Bandai product. Me and another guy are like the only ones who have it, so it's something I treasure. If this gets broken one day, oh my god, don't even want to think about it.
Oh my gosh, you have to like protect it in like a glass case with another plastic case around it.
Yes. Yes, with
Yeah.
bubble wrap added
Yeah. That way, if
outside.
it's in the post, it can just be
Exactly.
encapsulated.
Not even bubble wrap, but a mattress. Just
And
in case.
pizza
Just
over top of
pizza.
it.
Gosh
That
darn
way
it.
it smells good, you know? No.
And now I'm craving pizza. Now I'm craving pizza. Gosh darn it. Oh my goodness.
So there's another question I had for you of where it always is amazing to see how many different moves, how many different swords, how many different abilities there are in Souls and Souls-like games. What is your favorite weapon to utilize currently right now in Elden Ring? Since we are going towards the DLC and we're prepping
Oh
for
my
that,
goodness.
I have a few Elden Ring questions for you, but this is the first one I have. Which one's your favorite weapon to use?
Can you believe I cannot remember a single name of a weapon there? But it was no. Moonveil. Moonveil Katana,
Ooh.
my absolute favorite. My favorite weapon across the entire, games of From Software. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be the Moonlight Sword. It's actually the Grave Lord Sword, Great Sword.
That's a
Love
good
that thing.
sword.
The design of that thing. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it, and it actually packs a punch, so it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to know a hot take I have about the Moonlight Sword?
Yeah.
It does absolute shit in Dark Souls 2. It doesn't do anything. I tried it. I saw, attack power 232 after I leveled it up, and I took it from the guy. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get ready for like a powerhouse. I tried to use it against the bell tower gargoyle. It took out like this much damage.
Nothing. I do think that might have been a intentional block, so you're not too OP too early, perhaps.
Yeah,
Not
but
sure.
you can actually be very OP very early on in Dark Souls 2, even just with a base weapon. It's
That's
really,
true.
it's very
That's
broken.
true. It's things I usually play with. I never played with moon swords or sorcery or anything. I just want my trusty sword and my shield. That's enough. And then, after you finish it, then you go for a naked run as well to do some no damage things. It's satisfying. It can be frustrating, but it is ultimately in the end very satisfying to do.
Hey, listen, let me solo her pave the way so we could run instead of walk, all right?
Exactly. No, that guy is awesome. He was
He's a legend.
really, really is a legend, and massive respect for him. Truly massive respect. I am quite literally looking to just more Elden Ring, just to be back in that world, exploring more, seeing things that I haven't seen before. I do believe that Mesmer is going to be another style of Millennia fight. But might be even harder than she is.
I'm ready. I'm so
Me
ready
too.
for
Oh
that.
my gosh, me too. Me too. I'm gonna humiliate the crap out of him.
See, to already go in knowing that you're gonna kick some booty is going to probably be the most satisfying thing ever.
Exactly.
Because
No.
when we saw that trailer, I was kind of shocked to see that they're possibly going to make a boss that is more difficult than Ishin Sword Saint and Millennia combined. So, because
Oh yeah.
Ishin Sword Saint was by far the most difficult boss for me ever. And like, for me, I know you disagree with me on this, but I do not consider Sekiro a Souls-like at all whatsoever.
It's another one of those things where you can argue against it and for it all day long.
Exactly.
All day long. Because Sekiro is actually, at its core, a Tenchu game. Also from Software. And they combined the best of Tenchu games with the best of Souls, design choices. So it's, the bonfires, the way the healing works also that is upgradable as well. And one of the biggest trademarks for Souls-likes is not Souls-like, Souls games from Software is their level design. And Sekiro also has that. And it's truly exceptional. It really does have enough, I would say, but you can consider it is either one not really wrong.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see because with Sekiro, I did not expect it to be as fast paced as it was. Because when I first went into that game, I thought, okay, wow, the controls are actually really easy to get accustomed to, and I'm not sure if that's because I had already played Souls games previously that just jumping into that was no problem. But for me, the biggest shock of my life going into that game was seeing that headless chimp come back.
Oh my gosh! Fun enough, I was ready. I was ready because I was like, I was like, no, no,
Oh, wait, what are you gonna do?
no, 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 no. I have fallen for these things before. You're not fooling me again. From software, no. Look, so I was still, holding everything, just eyes, not blinking. And then he came back, and I'm like, yeah, figures.
Knew it.
God damn
You
it.
see, that boss and Ishin, whenever I saw Junichiro and then his grandfather just pop out of his shoulder, I'm like, figures out. Yeah, okay. That works out.
Oh my gosh. That really was true. Yeah. Such a great game, but for some reason it didn't agree with me. Even though, played it, wrecked it, completely mutilated all the bosses, platinumed. For some reason, something about it just didn't agree with me.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and I can understand that because there's like different play styles will agree with different people. Like for me, I love the play style of Bloodborne. I love how fast paced it is, but in combination with the really amazing viscerals. And I haven't seen viscerals like that in any other game, especially a lot of the Bloodborne bosses. Because
True.
when you look at Lies of P, they have an easy mode technically for the viscerals because they have like a red circle that you can stand to show you where to do the visceral. So I thought that was really interesting.
The gameplay, it did agree with me, the gameplay, but I think something visually just from that perspective, design-wise, didn't sit with me. I didn't feel immersed myself in the world like I did with, the dark fantasy of Dark Souls, the Lovecraftian of Bloodborne. I just didn't feel pulled into the game in that manner, like the atmosphere. The atmosphere that's it. The atmosphere didn't really grab me or hook me. But gameplay-wise, it was phenomenal. Just fantastic.
So to move on to one of the other questions I had about Elden Ring for you, when you were playing Elden Ring, what was the thing that stuck out to you the most? Like, was it gameplay wise? Was it aesthetic? Like when you first going into it, what were your first few thoughts? Oh, it's aesthetic.
It was aesthetic because the game had this oil painting quality, which just stuck with me immediately, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot just take my eyes off of this game. And then the gameplay and everything was just an icing on the cake for me, because you want to feel amazing in a certain world of a game, in the setting and everything. And I feel like that's what was missing for me with Sekiro. I just didn't feel in there.
Interesting. Okay, I can understand that completely, because when I went into that game, I kind of at a certain point, I was almost half expecting to see the painted world of Arendelle again.
Oh my god, the painted world was... That was pure poetry.
Yeah. Isn't there a lore theory that the painted world of Arendelle is supposed to be what would be Bloodborne? Because when you go into the DLC, she's painting something, and that's supposed to be the world of Bloodborne.
There are so many theories, and then you know what? I bet that at least half of all of this is unintentional. Like, no way. Like, we are just reading into it a lot, and then they are, the game designers, like, reading these things. Man, wish we thought of this, like, good job. They will never know. They will never know. I'm sorry. I'm just petting Mimi here under my chair.
Oh, no, you're good.
She's very, very needy.
But needy cats are the best, though, because they're just constantly wanting attention.
I know. Putting my whole face here under the chin, it's like my favorite thing ever. It smells like a baby. It's so soft. It's warm. It's fluffy on my whole face. Oh my
Especially
god.
like after they get cleaned and you have like the smell of kitty shampoo and everything. It's just, I love it so much.
And they look like they came out of a dryer. It's like the best thing. It's like
just
the best
like
thing.
A big fluff.
With eyes.
No, whenever they get cleaned and they get washed, it's just like all that fur just sinks down. You just see face and eyes. It's like, oh, okay, you look very intimidating right now.
So cute.
But one of the last questions I have here for you is another one of the fun ones, not like the pizza party ones, but if you were to go into any Souls-like and you were to create, and this is actually something I actually asked Fighting Cowboy as well, if you were to create your own personal specific build, anything you could think of, what would it be? And you can include anything that you want from each Souls or Souls-like.
That's a really interesting question. I mean, I always play either strength or dexterity builds, so my stuff is always pretty simple when it comes to this. It's always going melee and being super agile. Um, I can't like put something specific now, but something that allows me to be extremely nimble, which is how I played Elden Ring, by the way. I can't remember everything I had equipped, but it was, light load, things that prolong your invincibility frames when you roll and stuff like that. So my answer to these things is always glass cannon. Deal a ton of damage, not being able to take a lot myself, but that kind of keeps you sharp, because you need to do everything not to get hit because you take all that damage also. But when you hit, you hit like a truck. So glass cannon builds, it doesn't have to be something specific. As long as I can be super nimble, fast, reactive, snap decisions, and just shred, I'm very happy with that.
I like that. That's awesome. For me, I would try to create like a strength bleed build.
That's a great combination, though. A great combination.
Yeah, I love bleeds, and I've never gotten the chance to really fully go into one. But for Dark Souls 3, I was a full strength build, and I loved it so much. And for, what was it, Dark Souls 2, I was strength and, what was it, strength dex? Yeah, that's the one that was currently
That's a good combination.
Yeah, I love it. It's really great because you have like that massive health pool, and it's just like the enemies are like, nope, don't worry, don't do it.
That's true. Very true. Very true.
So I want to know what are you playing currently right now, so people know what we can expect from you.
Well, you know what? Just playing Helldivers still for some guides. Haven't really played something for my pleasure. If you wanna see me play some things, I have like. For the top of my head, Cuphead, whole game uploaded hitless, beaten without taking a single hit. So that's kind of interesting. If you're, I mean, I have a little channel that I neglect where I upload some gameplay, but it's mostly guides now. So doing the Helldivers has been really good for the channel, so I'm kind of sticking with it. But I would love to play something, for me also, and YouTube just benefiting as a secondary. I think what you call it, Stellar Blade and Dragon's Dogma are gonna be that. So two big games that are gonna be, and I'm gonna be uploading a lot of probably like gameplay of that as well on the side.
Really fun. Currently, right now, I'm going through a playthrough of Lords of the Fallen, so that's really fun.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt you. Do not forget the Surge games. They are severely underrated. Severely underrated.
Like, very nice. Yeah, I'll have to check them out.
Very good gameplay. They've really brought a lot of their own to the whole formula of Souls-like.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because what I'm finding from Lords of the Fallen is that, number one, the way in which they're done is sticking to the formula of what a Souls game is. And I really am enjoying it a lot. Especially the weapons, like they have massive hit power. Whenever you upgrade them to what their potential is, I'm taking out enemies literally in 2 to 3 shots.
True. Very true. Very true.
It's so much fun, especially if you go double-handed with them. I'll have to show you what my build is because I'm I am strength pyro currently.
Nice. Very nice.
It's so much fun. You just have like one hit, throw a flame, one hit, and then they're done.
Job's done.
Yeah, it's great. But Elvithium, I do have to say thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was so much fun to get to chat with you and discuss just about Souls games and games in general. It was really awesome.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here. And anytime you want me back, drop me a DM on Twitter again.
Absolutely. No absolutely. But you guys can check out all this stuff down in the description below. Or if you just click the name on the title, you'll be able to go right over to his channel. But Elvithium, thank you so much for joining me. If you guys like our faces and what we do, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below. I make videos every weekday here on YouTube. May you find your worth in the waking world, dear hunter. Stay casually nerdy, and I'll see you all in the next video. Umbasa.